Hi, I'm Carolyn Gage, and I want to talk to you today about my most recent play, Starpattern. This is a play that is about two very young women. One of them's 18 and the other's 20, and they were caught in the middle of the 1966 tower shooting at the University of Texas at Austin. One of the first victims outside the tower was Claire Wilson, and she was shot and lay on this south mall of the campus. People were unable to rescue her because the shooter was still up in the tower and she was in the line of fire, and she was obviously struggling. And suddenly this 20-year-old woman who didn't know her, Rita, comes running out and just lies down and keeps her company at tremendous risk to herself. Could have been shot at any second. And she kept Claire talking and conscious and probably saved her life. Just an extraordinary act of heroism. And there's three reasons I wrote the play. First, I wanted to honor that act of outstanding heroism. Just amazing. And the second thing was that I wanted to really, it's a very compressed play. 1966 was a very particular time between the conservatism and the heavy gender roles and the complacency with oppression of the 1950s and the revolutionary changes that happened in the late 60s. 1966 was just right on the cusp of that. And we see that with the campus, and the men all have short hair. Pictures the next year, they've all stopped cutting their hair. It's just that turning point. Rita at this time, she's 20, she's married. And shortly after this experience with the shooting, she comes out as lesbian, leaves her husband. She goes on to found a women's press that's very successful, and then she founds a women's arts center that is still thriving today in Austin, and just became a major feminist activist. So I was interested at that turning point and how this afternoon on the South Mall with Claire, under the eye of the shooter, might have affected that. So I wanted to kind of capture that, because whether or not you came of age at a turning point like 66 or not, I feel like for a lot of young women, there is a point in our early 20s or late 20s where we suddenly have an awakening or a turning point and a powerful urge to be authentic and walk away from whatever it is, no matter what the rewards or penalties. We have to become who we are. And so I wanted to kind of capture this incredibly compressed situation. The third thing I was trying to do with this was, there's actually four. The third thing was the play uses the secret language of women. And I'm talking to women now. If you have ever been in a situation where you encounter another woman, one you don't know, who's in serious crisis, and that's happened to me because I've stopped at car accidents, been a first responder. I find that women and I've sometimes been the woman in crisis where strangers were working with me. Women shift into this immediate secret language of women. Tremendous intimacy is established almost immediately, and language becomes highly symbolic. And there's a kind of collaboration in creating anti-patriarchal space because the crisis is so severe. That's exactly what these two women did. And I'm using a lot of the notes. Claire has given a lot of interviews about that afternoon on the South Mall. So the whole play, I wanted it to be in the secret language of women. It was a technical challenge for me. I don't know if I succeeded, but that's what I'm trying to do, and I felt happy with it. Finally, it's a snapshot of an apocalypse. There's this crazed maniac up in this tower. Seemingly nobody can stop him, and he shoots dozens of people that day, and terrorizes the whole campus. And of course, these women are literally, pinned down, in front of him, and nobody can come and help them. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about, or in the play, the snapshot of the apocalypse. It's also a template, though. And we are living in a time with a pandemic, running out of resources, environmental, climate change, and financial collapse, all these specters. And I feel like that these two women, this story, especially Rita Starpattern, her choices are a template for surviving, for retaining autonomy in the face of overwhelming terrorism and what seems like random violence. Just, you drew the wrong lottery card today. The power of exercising the choices we do have are just earth-shaking. So this is a play written very much for these times. So honoring these women, honoring the process of transformation, especially in the lives of young women, honoring the secret language of women that often emerges in crisis, and then a template for women in a patriarchal inferno. So that's why I wrote the play. All right, that's it.